This is crazy. It's been literally so long since I last filmed a video, since I last posted a video. I am back. Here I am. In this video, I'm just going to give you a quick and dirty, basically. I'm going to be yapping about some of the things that I have been interested in and thinking about and obsessing over, in part because I want to talk to my internet friends about them, but also just as kind of a soft relaunch, I guess you could say, back into filming, editing, and uploading. And I want you to know too, there will be topics and discussions. This isn't just a life update video. This is a substantive video too. I will be talking about the Danish deception, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, me thinking about restarting my Patreon and memberships, Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, not in that order. So yeah, stick around if you like seeing hot girls. Yeah. I wanted to make a video like this that is just kind of honestly low effort, low commitment, because part of the reason that I have not been posting is that I've been really stressing myself out about getting the second part of my All for the Game series out. I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to make people upset. And so I told myself I would not post again until it was that video. And me saying that, ADHD, pathological demand avoidance, it literally just made my brain go, okay, so you're not doing anything then. What do you think this is? I have to just put something up in between that and this. I also have a lot of footage of different videos that I've filmed. I have my Henry VIII series that I'm working on. I filmed a video about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City almost a year ago at this point that I'm hoping to edit and upload very soon. And then I have literally 6 hours of footage about All for the Game. Okay, so you little freaks who are as obsessed with the book series as I am, know it's taking a while for a reason. It's not just because I'm lazy and I don't want to do it. It's not because I'm lazy. The pathological demand avoidance is a big part of it. Yeah, so the pathological demand avoidance is a huge part of it, but the video is filmed. I literally just have to edit it and put it up. I don't know how else to explain it to someone who does not also have unmedicated ADHD. It's just a thing that my brain does that forces me to procrastinate even when I don't want to. And the only way that I can knock myself out of the pattern sometimes is to do something adjacent to the thing that I'm avoiding doing so that my brain can get back into the groove and not think that it's so scary anymore. So that's one thing. The second main reason, and I mentioned this at the beginning of that video, and I might cut that part out or I might leave it in because redundancy, whatever. I've been suffering. The past half a year, I have been suffering horribly. 2025 has been one of the most difficult years of my entire life, even as I have hit these milestones for myself. It's a lot of personal stuff going on in terms of school and my progression at school, and then also my own mental reactions to that, and then also, as I mentioned, the unmedicated ADHD, and it all just kind of snowballs and piles up into a huge situation. The long and short of it is editing Nada. Yeah, there was no short in that explanation. There was exclusively long, so I'm just going to give you the get down to brass tacks. I have basically been living in genteel poverty for the past 6 months. That's really the only way that I can describe it. I have struggled with money to feed myself, to pay my rent, to pay my utilities, to get around town and live a human life. And part of the reason for that is that I was funded on my master's program through the 31st of August. I experienced a incredibly traumatic spring semester that involved a family member being hospitalized multiple times, going missing. And then also my dog went missing and she was severely injured and we had to rush her to the emergency room. She's fine now, but it was really difficult. There was a lot of things happening in my personal life. I got in touch with the school while it was happening and I said, I don't know. I need to finish this program. I want to finish what I'm doing. I just I'm really struggling right now. I was told to focus on working on my dissertation, and then what the hell bug is that? Is that a stink bug? I captured it and threw it outside. I have a friend coming to visit and I cannot have the guest room smelling like stink bug. I was told to focus on my dissertation, so that's what I did. I get an email from my advisor in July telling me that I'm not submitting in the summer. That immediately sent me into a spiral because I was like, what's happening? Like, nobody said anything to me. Basically, I had not had any communication about anything. This is like a level of detail that I don't necessarily want to go into, so I'm gonna cut a lot of this out. Like, maybe if you subscribe to the Patreon, you can get the tea. Basically, I was funded through August 31st. August 31st, I was de-enrolled from school. Like, I asked my advisor, I was like, so what's the process? She said, you're going to finish the program and the program's going to end for you. And then we will review your progression and see if you can be re-enrolled, basically. I said, oh, okay, that's crazy. So what can I do financially in the meantime? I get in touch with the financial aid office. They basically say there's nothing we can do for you because you're not going to be a student. So I'm in a situation where I've been told that I'm not finishing my dissertation. I'm being disenrolled from the school. I now have to try and find a job, basically, because I don't even know if I'm going to be re-enrolled. I don't know what my visa status is. I don't know what's happening. Many contradictory things have been said to me. Long story short, I didn't have any money because my money ran out end of August. Like, I literally was budgeted through the end of August, and then taking into account too, in the spring, I had to unexpectedly pay out of pocket for my dog's surgery, and I was in Maryland. I had to change flights because of what was going on with family. Like, it was a bad situation. So basically from July to now, which is December, I have been struggling to feed myself. I've been struggling to keep myself housed. I've been struggling to pay my taxes, pay my utilities, pay everything. The entire purpose of this portion of the video is for me to say, all of my links are down below. If you have a couple dollars you can throw my way, please do. Like, I've reached a point like this year where I can no longer pretend like I don't need help. And it's hard because in your mind growing up, like, you think somebody having a viral moment or somebody getting followers will translate directly to cash. Like, this, I said this previously in the video and I'll reiterate it. This has been a year of like some of my biggest successes in my content creation. I finally hit 10K on YouTube after 5 years of making videos. I have 7,000 followers on the Clock app. I'm making friends with creators that I have looked up to for years myself. And even still, I have not been able to feed myself. Like, I cannot stress enough how I have not been able to feed myself on a regular basis without the help of like friends and family. But even that, like, they don't have nothing either at this point. You know, it's the Christmas season. So like, if you have the spirit of Christmas in your heart, or the spirit of whatever holiday you celebrate, maybe you're a Celtic druid and you like to go dance around naked at the winter solstice, and you have a couple extra dollars you can throw my way. I have my Cash App, my Venmo, my PayPal, all linked down below. I can't access my Venmo right now because it is like a US app and I'm on the UK app, so it's kind of crazy. So, but like, my Cash App and my PayPal are linked down below, as well as the GoFundMe that I started when I came to school in the first place. If you're thinking to yourself, why would you go to graduate school if you couldn't afford it? I could. I was not going to get my first like disbursement of money until after I got here, but I, again, was budgeted through August of this year. It is now December, and I'm still like struggling to hear back from the school because they're supposed to pay me for this extra 6 months that they're forcing me to do, basically. Or that like a confluence of factors have led to me having to do. But yeah, but if you have a rude comment to say it in words in the comments down below, because that'll boost my engagement and hopefully I can make a few dollars from this video. That's was the point of this whole segment, is that I have not been posting because I have been literally materially struggling, and I've been like trying to work through it and post through it and just like push through, and I reached my limit. I reached my limit in October after my Taylor Swift video went viral, because some of the comments on that were so nasty and heinous, in my personal opinion. I'm a very sensitive person, okay? I have a Pisces stellium, Pisces moon, Pisces Venus. Like, I am a very soft person, and I was not prepared for, because I've made videos about Taylor Swift in the past where I would argue I've said worse things about her, but the vitriol was a lot for me to handle, especially after everything that I have already been through this year. So my brain was like, "Wah." And then I had my All for the Game video, and it just like, it all compounded. I'm not well up here. Not everything is fully cooked, okay? But I'm doing my best. And if you do throw a few dollars my way, I quite literally will love you forever. I'm a witch, and I'm gonna do a spell for your abundance, okay? That's all I have to say. I just turned 30 minutes of me talking into like 6. Talking about me and my personal life and the difficulties that I've had this year. Like, have you had a horrible 2025 too? Let me know. Because let's talk. Like, genuinely, I don't think I know a singular person who has had a good time this year, except for like millionaire influencers that I follow. Like, speaking of Patreon and membership, I'm thinking about doing something kind of like this on a weekly basis, just like a weekly podcast. Probably I'm going to like restart it with just one tier, like $5 a month, something like that. Once again, I know times are tough and people cannot like afford a lot of extras right now, but I really have a lot of things that I want to say. I have a lot of opinions, and I was on TikTok, and one of my like favorite creators is named Erica Hart, and they had posted a video about like being a creator online basically. And I left a comment and I asked, like, how do you deal with people who are like willfully ignorant and who like, I put so much time, effort, and energy into the videos that I end up putting out. I'm not going to hit everything, like I'm not an encyclopedia. Encyclopedias aren't even comprehensive, but like, I'm not like a comprehensive resource on every singular topic, but I do try really hard to do research, be accurate, and like have facts to back up the opinions that I put out into the world. And doing all of that work and being met with bean soup, basically, or being met with people who are like, well, why do you care so much? I find it really like soul crushing, because like, it's one thing for somebody to be like, I listened to all of this and I still disagree. That's fine. For you to say, I listened to all of this and I want to convince you to agree with me instead, based off of these things that are not rooted in fact or reality, then that's when I lose it. Like, I had this person comment on my TikTok about Taylor Swift. I made one about how she's not speaking out against the Trump administration using her music in like Instagram Reels, basically. And like, when it happened to Olivia Rodrigo, when it happened to like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like these huge bands, they either took the music off the platform or they like made a statement, or both, right? And she's done none of that. And someone commented on that post in Spanish, and they were like basically accusing me of furthering US imperialism, because if Taylor Swift speaks out against the Trump administration, it could put her international fans at risk, because someone who loves Trump might decide to do something violent at a concert that she has. And I said, and I've gotten a lot of that since I've been like speaking out about how I don't like the rollout of this most recent album. I don't like the music on the album. Quite literally, it's Great Gowns, Beautiful Gowns, the music version, because the visuals ate. The music sucked ass. I've been talking about that a lot, talking about the microaggressions that I've noticed, talking about how it's very coincidental that the woman who said that she wanted to be political in 2019 and speak up for what she believes in, all of a sudden doesn't want to do that anymore now that she's spending all this time with MAGA people, right? And I've gotten so many people, once again, willfully ignorant, being like, have you considered the fact that she already said what her affiliations are? Yes, 6 years ago. She posting a Time magazine photo of her herself with a cat in 2024 and saying, I'm endorsing Kamala Harris a week before the election. Like, I understand that she's not a politician. And also people being like, I didn't know that Taylor Swift was a politician and not a pop star. Who said that she was a politician? What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is how this woman said that she wanted to be political and speak up for things that she believes in. She also said that she does not like Donald Trump and she doesn't believe in the things that he does. He's only gotten worse. Like, he's only gotten worse, more violent, and more fascistic in this most recent administration. And she's saying even less than she was before. I mean, if you don't care what opinions your pop stars have, sure, that's fine. I do. Like, what does that have to do with me? You know what I mean? It really troubles me when I, like, put a lot of time, energy, and mental effort into something, and then someone's response is just, like, so beyond the pale of stupid that I can't even believe that they are allowed to work a telephone, honestly. And Erica Hart's response to that was that I should look into Patreon and putting things behind paywalls, because when I make the choice to be vulnerable and try and share from my own personal life experience and someone responds to that by, like, weaponizing my life experience against me to say, like, very cruel things about me or insinuate very cruel things about me or just, like, things that hurt my feelings, basically, I'm not doing that anymore. And I don't want to be in a place where I'm, like, not showing up on the internet in the way that I want to, but I also don't want to be, like, so open that it's literally, like, opening myself up for attacks, right? I'm considering bringing back YouTube memberships and Patreon to do, like, a weekly podcast where I can talk about my unfiltered thoughts about things that are going on in pop culture, things that are going on in my life, experiences that I'm having, research that I'm doing, like, where I am at. And then people can interact with it. They can talk to me about it. They can make requests of topics that they would like my thoughts on, and I can do research into the topics. And it can just be a space that feels, like, safe and kind and loving, you know, as opposed to what I've been experiencing recently, which is, like, the more eyes that I have on me, the more people are just, like, flip and mean with how they deal with me. Like, let me know if you would be interested in a Patreon or a YouTube membership in the comments down below, and I will hopefully get that up and running at some point this month. The Danish Deception. I want to make a full, like, main channel video for YouTube about the Danish Deception when the, like, dust has fully settled and when I think people are willing to listen to, like, nuance about it, basically, because I think it's not a simple situation. Just, like, summarize it really quickly here. And mind you, I was served this video immediately, okay? I didn't get Who the F Did I Marry? I don't always get the, like, TikTok series, but I did get this one immediately. So this girl named Onyeka, who is a former Bachelor in Paradise contestant. She was on Colton's season of The Bachelor. She comes on TikTok and she's like, I'm about to tell you the greatest love story of all time, basically. She herself was really billing it as, like, a Who the F Did I Marry type story, but she said that it was, like, if you've heard of Who the F Did I Marry, she was like, this is way worse. Like, people were watching it, expecting it to give that, and I think that that was the first problem with the way that this series was crafted, shaped, and presented. But there were many things that happen over the course of the series that kind of, like, the audience was never really with Onyeka as she was telling this story. Okay, so for people who are, like, in the Bachelor Nation, Bachelor universe, people knew that Onyeka was engaged to this guy named Martin, I think, from Denmark, because she announced it on her Instagram. And I remember seeing it on the Bachelor Nation subreddit or something like that, or, like, one of those posts. Like, I always get those posts on my Instagram Explore pages, like, who in Bachelor Nation is engaged, married, having babies, all of these things. So I remember seeing stuff about that and being like, oh wow, good for her, whatever. I did not follow her very closely, and I never watched Colton's season of The Bachelor, so I was not, like, aware. I wasn't locked in on anything that was going on there. Okay, so did we get Hannah Brown from Colton's season? I think we did. That was such, like, a season of characters, you know. including Colton himself. Over the course of this story time, she is talking about how her and Martin met, the relationship, and how essentially how he ended up scamming her and her friends and family out of almost or over 300,000 USD. We don't have exact figures. Like, somebody did a rough calculation. I'll actually link the Do We Know Them episode about it down below. And then be sure to come back and watch my episode, my video about it anyway. I just had an errant thought, which is that like a year ago, I was just getting out of a relationship with someone who would not have let me wear this shirt. Would not let me wear this shirt on camera. Because, like, I remember I put on a shirt that was, like, square neck like this and a little bit low cut. And they were like, can you change? Like, I don't feel comfortable with you wearing that on camera. And I was like, okay, like, what? I was like, what? Anyway, see, we all have our own things, right? So she's telling this story. She's talking about, the things that he did, how he wooed her, how they met, every like stage of their relationship, and then eventually how she found out that he had a gambling addiction. I'm giving so many spoilers, but like it doesn't matter. There might be some people who watch this who don't watch that. Like, it doesn't matter. She finds out that he had gambling addiction. She finds out that he stole $200,000 from one of her friends for like a sham investment. That he stole money from his ex-girlfriends, that he stole money from her dad, her little sister, her mom, basically everyone that she had ever met, he stole money from them. And as she's telling this story, I'm locked in, hook, line, and sinker, okay? Like, I'm like, I am with you, girl. The first thing that came to mind was, for me personally, was, oh, this is an abuser, right? Like, he's financially abusing her, whatever. And that was where my initial reaction to the story came from. And my initial thought of like, well, this could happen to anybody, quite literally. I'm now reflecting, and once again, like, you don't really even have to know too many details about the story to like be able to follow what I'm saying. But I think the reason that the reaction to my initial video was so strong and so negative, and that the reaction to Onyeka's story continues to be so strong and so negative, is because there are a lot of specific contours of the story as it is being relayed to us that trouble the idea that this is just like a simple case of financial abuse, or that this is just like a simple love scam, and they like reveal a lot about the problems that our society has with thinking that, like, with how we should operate in relationships, right? People decided that they didn't like Onyeka. People decided that they didn't like the way that she was telling the story, that she was not only male-centered, but like whitewashed and like dealing with unpacked like internalized racism. And she like was not having any of those diagnoses. You know, she's not like willing to engage with that conversation in any way, which is hard because it's like, it feels very obvious that that is what is happening here. If you didn't realize, I did say he's from Denmark, but if you didn't realize this is a white man, and the way that she initially describes him, she's like, oh, he's got blonde hair, blue eyes, he's 6'4", he looks like he just walked off of a Calvin Klein photo shoot. Someone in the comments said that he looked like Krampus, and I have not been able to dispel that association in my mind yet. Okay, that man is Krampus to me, all right? But that's what happens. Like, white men have to do negative anything for women to find them attractive, which is crazy that there's even like incels and a male loneliness epidemic. Like, have you considered that you're just fucking weird? Because white men have to do literally nothing for women to find them attractive. Maybe you're scaring the hoes. Maybe your vibe is off, and that's why the girls don't like you. But anyway. And I can see why someone would look at that, Because she's obviously the more attractive person in the coupling. How somebody would look at that and be like, oh, you're a show for white supremacy. Like, you have a colonized mindset, because why would you look at that man? And aside from him being 6'4" and having blue eyes, what is attractive about him specifically and quickly? He's giving more than normal percentages of Neanderthal DNA. And you automatically thought, this is the man for me. So I think that's part of the problem that people had with Onyeka's story. I think it's also the fact of, like, the way that she tells the story, right? He met her, he was wining and dining her. It's a very Tinder swindler. He's wining and dining her. He took her to a, like, 5,000 euro a night hotel for their first date. He took her around Monaco. He offered to buy her a Dior bag. He ended up buying her a $200 pair of sunglasses. And she is trying to really, like, drive home the point of, like, I'm not a gold digger. I don't just want you for your money. Which I think there's a racialized undertone to that as well. But once again, we are not here. She doesn't want to entertain that. So if I'm making another video, I'm going to unpack that a little bit later. Like, it kind of gives, like, she wants him to know, I'm not just a black girl who's just, like, trying to get you for your money, basically. He tells her that he was in the Olympics for Denmark. He didn't play, but I guess he said he didn't play. He said he didn't compete. I don't know how he would have gotten 2 medals if he didn't compete, but maybe they were team medals. I don't know what types of lies he told. He said he was in the Olympics. He said that his family were royals, had a royal title, were descended from the Royal Order of the Elephants. And these are all things that are verifiable. These are all things that you can very easily look up and say, Martin, whatever the hell his last name is, Olympics. No such thing. Martin, whatever the hell his last name is, royal family. This family name, royal family. Like, she could have looked all of this stuff up. She wasn't doing that. She was blinded by the idea of this lifestyle and what she was going to have access to through being close to him. And so I think she was, as much as she was trying to convince him that she wasn't there for his money, I think she was also trying to convince herself, because, like, he had let slip within, like, days of meeting her that he was a part of the royal family. She finds out within a couple months of knowing him that he had been to the Olympics. So, like, she's thinking to herself, like, I think part of the reason that this scam functioned the way that it did, and the reason that it went on for as long as it did, because their divorce was finalized in November of 2025. That's this year. She met him, I think, like, holiday season or sometime late 2022, sorry. So, like, this is very fresh for her. This is very recent for her. And I think part of the reason that she was finally willing to, like, leave him behind and walk away is because it was, like, the wool had been complete. Actually, let me not even say that, because I don't think she wasn't willing to leave him alone. Anyway. And that's also why people were very frustrated about it. It's just, like, it's a hard story to sit with, because I think that there are multiple truths at the same time. One of the truths is, when is enough going to be enough? And I think that is part of the frustration. But you can also say that about anyone who has been in a really, like, coercive, controlling, I don't even know if it was coercive control, because she said the relationship was, I guess it's like, the more we learn, like, the more time she has apart from it, the more we're going to learn, and the more she's going to, like, be able to explain what all happened in the relationship that made her stay for as long as she did. But, like, if I even just think about the steps that it took for her, finding out that he had stolen $200,000 from her friend. Your family is, like, royal. Finding out that his parents were in millions of dollars of debt with the Danish IRS. Again, that's something that would probably be Googleable and, like, verifiable, because a member of the Danish royal family in millions of dollars of debt for tax fraud, like, that's insane. finding out that he was supposed to pay her mom $10,000 for something. He was never paying it. She found out that he was like lying about the bank transfers, and he was showing her like fake screenshots of the bank transfers. Finding out that he wasn't in the Olympics. He had lied about being in the Olympics. Even when she went to the family home and saw that it was not the home of a royal family, like it was a regular middle class Danish home. I don't understand a lot about like Denmark, and I don't have any like knowledge about the world. I don't really know a lot about Denmark either, but I know that English is a very like widely spoken language in Scandinavia. And so he told her that his mom didn't speak English. His mom comes to visit them in Dallas and she's speaking perfect English. So like there's so many times when things that he's saying are not matching up, but I can also understand, like, I've been in that situation where you're in a relationship with someone and the things that they're saying to you are not true, and you realize over time, like, oh, but then that's not even true because I did leave. Like, that's the thing. That's not true because I figured out that, like, the things that I was told were lies, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. Like, I can't do this. I need to begin my exit strategy. That's the part that's difficult for me. Like, I've been in with people. I've been in love with people. I have been like, and I've been in an abusive relationship. And even then, and I think part of it too is that we were long distance. So that's why I was like, I can just like because I don't have to see you and you're not coming here. So when people lie on that level of like, and things that you don't have to lie about. Nobody asked him if he was in the Olympics. Nobody asked him if he was a part of the royal family. Nobody was expecting any of that. Like, why is that not the straw that breaks the camel's back? I think that is what people's main frustration is with the way that she told the story. People also said that they didn't like it, that she didn't take accountability, because when Risa Tisa was telling her who the F did I marry story, like, she said multiple times, I was such an idiot. Why did I believe this? Why did I buy this? I don't think it's about taking accountability. I think it's more so about self-flagellation and like performing self-hatred for the audience, because if you can tell the audience before they say it to you, I should have looked this up, I should have looked into this, I should have done this, and I can't believe that I did it, then they're going to be like more accepting of you because you're like identifying them. They're like, oh yeah, I thought that. I literally just thought, how could you not look that up? And Onyeka was really telling the story like we were supposed to go along with it the same way that she did, but we were not in that relationship with her. We were not like I'm not sucking this man's, like, he's not looking me deep in my eyes. Like, I'm not holding his hand. I'm not making couples content with him. Like, this is not a part of my life. So I can listen to the story from a very objective point of view and be like, you missed this, you missed this, you missed this. But she almost wanted us to like live in the fantasy with her, and people were not going to do that, right? And then the third and most important, I think, reason that the story didn't hit the way that she wanted it to was that Black women are listening to this story, and honestly, what the fuck do I look like giving a white man who says that he's a member of the Danish royal family a singular cent? I look like someone who has a colonized mindset. That's what I look like. Like, it was not clicking for us how she ended up in this situation with specifically a white man, because putting and vesting blind trust into white people as any person of color, but particularly as a Black person, particularly as a Nigerian person, those were the colonizers that ruined the countries that our parents came from. And still to this day are forcefully extracting resources from them. So why would you then think this is a person who I can trust blindly? I don't understand that aspect of it in particular. And the other frustration is that she's not at all willing to entertain even the idea that there is a level of internalized racism, that there is a level of self-hatred, a level of like desire for and striving towards whiteness that got her in the situation that she's in now. That is not something that she wants to talk about even a little bit. And you can only self-reflect up to a point, right? Like, you can only self-reflect up to the point that you're willing to, and the point that she's willing to is to acknowledge, like, that she might have been operating in an unhealthy way in terms of the like relationship system that she was in, but she didn't want to think about the racial aspect of it. Now, in a way, I do understand that, right? I've seen a lot of people on TikTok say like, how are you being scammed if you gave up the money willingly? Well, if somebody asks for money under false pretenses and you give it to them willingly, that's what a scam is. Like, she wasn't being robbed. Well, she was at the end. He like took $7,000 from her. He took out a $7,000 cash advance from her credit card without telling her. That's robbery, right? But by that point, the relationship was like almost done, basically. But like, she wasn't like and forced to give the money up, but she was lied to and gave the money under false pretenses, the same way all of her friends and family did, right? So it's frustrating because I know that like this is part of conservatism and our culture's desire to like make women culpable for the things that they are put through. And it's just crazy work. The part where I was out, honestly, in terms of like, oh, she's being like, the part where that I could not believe personally, she's found out that he stole $200,000 from her. She has found out that he stole money from her. She has found out that he stole $200,000 from her friend. She's found out that he has a gambling addiction that he's actively struggling with. She has found out that he has lied to her about having property, lied to her about having business accounts, lied to her about being in the Olympics, lied to her about so many things. And she still decides, because they are married, she is going to try and build up his U.S. credit score by putting him on one of her credit cards. It's like giving a toddler a book of matches to play with. Like, and I think that's the thing that is frustrating, is like, nobody asked you to do that. There were times where he asked actively for money. There were times where she offered to give him money. But like, it's just so that aspect to me is mind-boggling. That's how you know you need Black women around you. Because like, I've talked about this. I had like a whole beef with my friend last summer because the person who was abusing me, my friend told me, I don't like this person. I don't think you should be in a relationship with them. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm an adult. I can do what I want. Like, I was wrong, but I did eventually realize, oh wait, she saw something that I couldn't see, right? It took me getting there on my own time, but like having somebody to look, I'm going to wait until I can really like unpack this, okay? Because I've been thinking about it a lot and it's been really troubling me, because I will say I do believe, like I said, abusers, scammers, people who want to take advantage of people, they will do it. They will find whatever a person's weakness is, whatever they are susceptible to, and they will do whatever they can to exploit that so that they can get what they want from their target, right? I just think that like the way that the story was told, her unwillingness to think about how an aspect of this could have been internalized anti-Blackness and internalized racism, and the sense that we got over the course of the story that she was still in love with this man. Like, it all contributed to make the internet turn against her. Do I think that that's right necessarily? Honestly, no. I don't. And I feel bad about it. I feel bad about looking at what happened to her and going, that's crazy, but that could never be me. But I also know that like this specific scenario that she was in, it could never be me in the sense that I don't have enough money to give someone like that. But also, if a man told me that he had like investment apartment buildings somewhere and he needed money for them, let's say I did have the money, I would be like, where are you going to get it from? Because it's not going to be from me. What do I look like giving a man money? That's not what men are for. Yeah. So I think I will make a long form video where I talk about this more in depth because I have so many thoughts. But I also have a lot of other things to talk about. The first other thing that I want to talk about is the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, because it's kind of along the lines of like, I'm seeing how people are nowadays reacting to women who have been victimized, even if they claim to be victimized, whether we know that it has verifiably happened or not. And I'm finding it concerning. So made a whole video about the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives earlier this year that I will link down below. I told myself I wasn't going to watch season 3. But I did because I was bored and I was also miserable, and nothing makes me happier when I'm like really, really sad than to watch a bunch of white people act a damn mess. Like, that is my favorite. Like, I eat it up quite literally. That's why I like the first like 17 seasons of Law and Order Original Recipe, because really not the first 17, because season 1 is highly racist. Season 2, seasons like 3 through 17 of Law and Order Original Recipe, okay? Because those ones, and I love me some Law and Order Criminal Intent, like that too. Those shows, they really get into the white foolishness, okay? The stupid crimes that white people commit against other white people. And I love that. But I don't know where to stream Law and Order here. And I'm not watching the like new rebooted version of Law and Order just because I did watch the first season and it was horribly racist. Like it was just bad. It was racist. It was anti-leftist propaganda, like, and in a way that was like not only bad, but absolutely nonsensical. So I'm not doing that again. But The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I have my friend's Disney Plus. So I cut that on real quick. And this is one of the worst seasons of television that I've ever encountered in my life. It was absolutely horrible. And I said this in my video, like, I think like 90% of the storylines from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives are 100% fictional, or they're like brainstormed in some way, workshopped. I don't think any of the stuff that shows up on there is real. There might be like, they might start from like a kernel of truth, but then they blow them completely out of proportion for the show and like for the drama of it. And it works because it is the most watched show on Hulu right now. People are obsessed with these women. And people are also really stupid. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The people on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives subreddit are marks. Like, all Whitney from that show had to do was go on Dancing with the Stars, and now everyone all of a sudden is obsessed with her. You can't say anything bad about Whitney. And all Jen had to do was, like, be a little bit rude, and people hate her. You can't say anything good about Jen. And it's the same thing with some other people that I'm going to talk about. Like, there is just like absolute black and white thinking. Like, there's no nuance to any of the discussions, which makes sense because it's a show about Mormonism, but it's also like, guys, stand up. These people are millionaires. Like, you don't have to defend them. One of the major plots this season was that Jessie, the girl who always has the exposed tracks, no, I'm kidding. But the woman who owns the hair salon, was being outed for this affair that she had with Marciano from Vanderpump Villa. Now, I do think that there was a kernel of truth to the affair. I had seen blind items and also like people mentioning that they saw Jessie and Marciano out at Tom Tom, which is like one of the bars from Vanderpump Rules, making out. So I do think she was having an affair with him. Like, in actuality, I think the way that it was described on the show and the way that it went down on the show was highly blown out of proportion. The first half of the season, Demi, who was Jessie's former bestie, is now her enemy. She was not filming because she couldn't reach an agreement with the producers about how much she was going to get paid. Same thing with Whitney. Whitney was not filming. And then about like halfway through the season, Whitney comes back because she was told by her manager, like, if you come back to film, then you can audition for Dancing with the Stars. So she like very baldly decides that she's just going to come back so she can audition for Dancing with the Stars. And all the girls are really skeptical of her and they don't want to be friends with her because they're like, you're like a user. You're using us like you always have. And Whitney's basically like, well, why wouldn't I use you? Because none of you actually like me. Like, you all just tolerate me for the most part. And Jen is not there for the beginning of the season because she's getting treatment for her like pregnancy depression. Taylor's away getting mental health treatment. Like, the beginning of the season is really weird. And so I think they knew that they were losing a lot of the cast for season 3 filming. So they restructured the whole show around Jessie and Layla, Michaela, and Macy, because those were the only 4 that were going to be from Mom Talk that were going to be filming consistently, and Miranda was not yet like voted into Mom Talk. So I think that's part of why the Jesse Marciano affair gets so much airtime. But I just don't think that it happened the way that it's described on camera. And there's also like a through line too of like Jesse and Demi beefing over Marciano. It's all like so silly, and it feels like it's all gotten blown super out of proportion. So by the end of the season, Jessie is like working on reconciling with her husband Jordan. They basically like lied. She admitted on Nick Viall's podcast that they lied and said like that they were on a break when her and Marciano had their affair, when in reality they were not. They were together. She just cheated on him, which is like, yeah, of course, because if you didn't know, allegedly Jessie was married to someone else when she met Jordan, and she got pregnant with Jordan's baby while she was married to that other guy, and they for a while thought that the baby was her ex-husband's, but it was actually Jordan's. So like, this is a thing that she does. She's not like, if she's not happy in a relationship, she's going to start looking elsewhere, right? Allegedly. So I think they were willing to blow out of proportion everything that was going on in their marriage for storyline. Like, I just do. But where things get a little bit crazy is when Demi comes back into the picture. So Demi starts filming again about halfway through the season, and she is being like really cruel towards Jesse and like making fun of Jesse for having this affair with Marciano. Marciano basically says to Macy and Michaela, who are both pregnant at this time, like, Demi told me to say that I had slept with Jesse when I never had. And then there's like this lie detector test thing where the lie detector test verifies that Jesse and Marciano never slept together. And it's like, this is all so contrived. But basically, like, by the end of the season, Mom Talk is like reconciled, and Jesse and Demi are going to find a way to make it through, and everyone's going to stop being mad at Jen, and everyone's going to be a better friend towards Whitney, and like all of these things, right? Well, after the season airs, everything blows up again because Demi is getting online, and she says this towards the end of the season that she says that Marciano essayed her. And all of the girls, like every girl on the cast, literally every single one, they also bring on some girls from Vanderpump Villa. Every single person is saying, no, that did not happen. He didn't do that. And the things that they're saying, like the arguments that they have for why he didn't do it, are things that I've heard all the time in reference to victims of SA. She admits to flirting with him and apologizes to Brett at some point last season for being too flirty with Marciano. She says that they had like this text relationship after the SA occurred. They're talking about how, well, she's lied before about being touched by a man. So who's to say she's not lying now? Because last season she told her husband that Miranda's ex-husband Chase had put hands on her when he like did that. I think he like tapped her shoulder and like pushed it back a little bit, which is like objectively that's true. He did put hands on her, or a hand on her, but like not in the way that she tried to make it seem, right? But it's like none of these things disqualify someone from being essayed. People are also saying like, well, why did she keep talking to him after it happened if she says that it happened? Like I think she's claiming that it happened at the Vanderpump Villa while they were there doing the crossover episode. And Lisa Vanderpump, known boy mom Lisa Vanderpump, came out and said, we have the footage, we reviewed it, no such thing happened, basically. To which I say, like, I'm always going to be suspicious when every singular person is saying, no, this person would never do something like that, and that woman's a liar. Because to me, it feels like we have left the era of believe women behind. Like, we have strayed so far from God's light, quite literally. And the thing that's crazy about it is, like, it was a scheme that Todd set up. Like, this is the world that conservative women like Demi wanted to live in, where people are misogynistic and they don't believe things that women say that happen to them. And she's almost like operating on this like 2017, 2018 mindset where she's like, aren't we supposed to believe women? Like, I would think, she says to Macy and Michaela, because they've both been abused, like, I would think with what you've gone through in your life that you would believe me. And it's like, yeah, maybe they would have like 5-8 years ago, but we're in a different way. We're like in a different world now. You voted for us to be in this world. Trump and like the turn towards conservatism and fascism has irreparably changed the world that we live in. And I said this in my video on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but like, for her to be someone who is like denigrates trans people allegedly and like non-binary people, like, we all exist on the gender spectrum. You punching out at trans and non-binary people is eventually going to reverberate back to you, because we are all gender minorities in terms of like the law and whatever. Like, women are discriminated against, trans people regardless of their gender are discriminated against, non-binary people are discriminated against functionally, and we are all considered to be beneath this patriarchy. Patriarchy is not just man versus woman. And so like, you want to live in this conservative world where trans people don't have rights. Well, that also is going to take rights away from women. Like, that's just how it works. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, that it also impacts cisgender people as well. Like, structurally oppressed cisgender people. So she has created her own jail, basically. No, they're not going to believe you, because they're being impacted by the conservative culture that you celebrated, like, being reborn into this world, right? And I mean, always in my life, I have erred on the side of believe women. The only girl on the cast who agrees and says, I believe you to me, is Whitney. And I don't like much about Whitney, but like, I agree with her on this. The main reason I don't trust Whitney is because she seems to really buy into the Book of Mormon. And I just, like, historically speaking, none of the things that are spoken about in there physically could have happened. Like, it's just not physically possible that the Israelites got on a boat from Jerusalem and sailed around the tip of Africa to the Americas. The Garden of Eden is in Missouri. Like, I cannot take that seriously about her. But this one thing I really respect, which is that she is the one person who's saying, look, until it's 100% unequivocally proven that Demi is lying, I'm going to be on her side, because I'm going to err on the side of believing women. And I really appreciate that. And it's really kind of like scary to see how hard all of these women are going in the opposite direction of, no, Demi's a liar, she's lying, she's disgusting, all she does. And it's like, oh, even to the point that like Jessie got online last week, and not last week. Yes, it was last week. Oh my God. She got online and she was like, because Demi is continuing to disparage me on the internet, I'm going to reveal what Fruity Pebbles is. I'm not gonna lie, she kind of ate. Like, with that singular statement, like that one, I was like, did she kind of eat this up? Oh my God. Because like, that was so funny. Gulping. That was the part that I could gulping. Yeah. She ate with that one thing. But like, people on the subreddit are saying unequivocally, I don't believe Demi and women like her should be. And it's that same like drum that's always banged. Like, women who lie about SA just make it harder for women who are telling the truth. Well, if every woman is lying, what women are telling the truth? Dude, like, I don't know. It's just like, culturally speaking, we don't live in a world where we naturally believe that women are telling the truth about SA, and there is like an overrepresentation of stories about women lying about it. And so when a story like this just gets blown up so much to the point where like, this was one of the major subplots of the season, I just think it was very irresponsible on Hulu's part. I think it was very irresponsible on the part of the production company. Like, this should never have been okayed. questioning whether a woman was assaulted or not is not something that is like tea and fodder for drama for a reality TV show. Like, that's just not, that's not cool. That's not fun. I don't like it. And it's even to the point where, like, again, on the subreddit, there's a lot of people on there who, like, we saw Jordan, who is Jesse's husband, being emotionally and verbally abusive to her on camera, like filmed on camera. We saw him doing it. They're sitting on a couch having a conversation, and she says something, and I don't exactly remember how the conversation was, but he said, "This is why I treat you how I do, because you don't know how to act right." And it's like, and then there are people on the subreddit saying, well, we only have Jesse's version of events, because Jordan went on Nick Viall's podcast and he was talking to Nick, and Nick was like, once again, broken clock is right twice a day. Nick was really going in on him. He was like, how are you okay with speaking to not just a woman, but your wife like this, especially on camera and on television? Like, I was not raised to speak to women like this. And Jordan, like, went completely over his head. He was not clocking that he was standing on business, but, like, there were people saying he should have been nicer to him. We don't know what his experience is. We don't know how Jesse was acting in the marriage. Like, oh, what? She said this man was emotionally abusive towards her. Another man is calling him out for it. And that man should have been nicer to poor little baby Jordan? Oh, give me a break. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Like, it's... I hate it. I hate it. And I honestly think The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is a scourge on popular culture, and it needs to be destroyed. But the girls love it. And I'm the girls. Like, I'm a hypocrite. I know. Is this fun? Like, is this long yap style video fun? Because I'm having a great time. I actually don't think I'm going to talk about Brene and Tim in this video, but I am going to link Kenny JD's video about it down below, because it's amazing. It's very comprehensive, and it's absolutely hilarious. So I think you guys can watch that. And if you watch it and you want to know my thoughts, like, I don't know what else can be said about it, really. I will just say, like, it's this basically, like, this woman got sued and now has to pay $1.75 million to her ex-friend for stealing her ex-friend's husband, which is illegal in the state of North Carolina, and is considered a tort. She tried to make a $2 payment on the $1.75 million, and now Akira is suing so that the judge can seize her assets and garnish her wages. So she will allegedly not be seeing us. She said in her post, like, interview at the news, like, the news was like, how do you feel about paying this money? She said about Akira, Brene said about Akira, she's probably never going to see it. You're probably never going to see these checks again. That's what you're not going to. Anyway. Okay. I've been on my Real Housewives BS and heavy. Okay. I guess I'm finally just that age where, like, Real Housewives is my main source of entertainment. Like, it is my bread and butter. It is everything to me. I get it now, right? When I was younger, there were certain franchises, like, I could only really watch, like, when I was younger, I could really only watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, I was really only into the, like, Black franchises, and it took, I think, like, 8 or 9 years after Real Housewives of Atlanta came out is when we got Real Housewives of Potomac. Quite literally the only one I was watching for the first 8 years was Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then Real Housewives of Potomac came out right around the time that I was starting to fall off of Atlanta. It was like when Nene was doing her in and out. I was like, I can't commit to this. So I've always been a fan because I loved Atlanta, but I never really watched any of the other franchises. I still have not been able to get into Beverly Hills, New York, or New Jersey, but I think I'm going to try New Jersey and see what it's giving, you know? But this year has been a banger year for these franchises. Okay, I watched some of the new Atlanta. They, like, did a soft reboot of Atlanta, kind of in the vein of the, like, soft reboot of, or the full reboot of New York, but that one did not work. Okay, that reboot of New York was some trash. They did a soft reboot of Atlanta that I think went down fairly well. I think the only person who really came out of it with like fan favorite status was Angela Oakley. But I'm glad that Phaedra Parks is back. I know she's evil, but she is my problematic fave. That's the thing about Real Housewives. None of these, I always see people post online and be like, this Real Housewife is a bad person. She did this illegal thing. She did that. And it's like, once Teresa Giudice went to prison, the like veil was lifted on the idea that these were supposed to be good people. Okay, like that we were supposed to be rooting for people based off of their morality. Like once she went to prison, got out, and got put right back on the show, it's not about morals, babe. Like it's not about what they do right and wrong. It's about which of these gutter women do you like more than the others. Pick one. Like Karen from Real Housewives of Potomac came out at BravoCon and she got a standing ovation, and people were like, she shouldn't get a standing ovation. She was driving drunk. And it's like, I agree. I get it. But she's in a room with tax evaders, frauds, thieves, like people who have done hit and runs and gotten away with it, mob members. Like this is not a group of squeaky clean individuals. This is a group of women who do what they can get away with. Okay. So I say all that to say, like, I wasn't really like, I love Phaedra. Like I love her having her on my screen, but I wasn't super into this new season of Atlanta. What I have really been enjoying is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay. Those whores are taking it. Those Mormons and former Mormons are eating. And I think the reason that I can really tolerate Real Housewives of Salt Lake City more than I can tolerate Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, like most of the women are out of the Mormon church, or they are like, they're no longer tithing. They're not like active members of the church. People like Macy and Whitney and even Taylor, like, and I get it. I really do. Like, I was raised Catholic, and there's so much about the Catholic Church that is, like, deeply troubling and that I don't want to engage with, particularly in terms of their history and the contributions to colonization and, like, destruction of indigenous lands, the residential schools, and that's like not even talking about the, like, CSA scandals and, like, rampant CSA throughout the church for centuries. And still, my dad was Catholic, devoutly so. He raised me and my sister to be Catholic. He passed away when I was 17. This is like one of the few things that I feel connects me with him, right? The difference for me, simply, very, very simply, is that the Catholic Church does have a history of CSA. It does have a history of racism, of colonialism, of like lying to people and taking advantage of people, right? The foundation of the church, however, is a human fact, which is that Jesus Christ existed. Whether you believe that he was the savior or not, we know he existed. He was a historical person. We know that Joseph Smith existed. We also know that he lied out of his ass a lot. He put his head in a hat and said that he was putting his head in the hat to translate golden tablets that an angel had given him. The angel didn't exist. The golden tablets, Moroni, aliens, there was an angel war in the America. Like, the facts, the basic facts of Mormonism are just not true because they physically, historically, archaeologically cannot be true. And that is the problem that is the thing that I personally struggle with Mormonism, is that not only does it have all of the same things that the Catholic Church has, it's that it is built on a foundation of lies. And they are taking people's money and they are traumatizing people. And they have constructed this highly patriarchal, highly white supremacist, like, skeleton on top of things that are not real and are verifiably not real. Like, if BYU had done a bunch of research and found, like, bones where there are supposed to be bones from this angel war and found, like, the bubbling spring of the Garden of Eden in Missouri, then we can have a conversation. And I'm saying, like, I understand these people believe these things and I simply disagree with them, but there's historical fact that backs them up. And I think that the structure of the religion is morally reprehensible, but at least people are tithing into something that is real, like exists, is not just lies that somebody came up with. And now if we're talking about like the Catholic Church in 1100, you can suck my ass before I'm giving you money for an indulgence. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Women are inferior to men. What are you talking about? Priests can't get married. What are you talking about? Marriage is the highest realization of a woman's humanity, that no power on earth or in the sky can tear asunder. What are you talking about? Like, the lies that the Catholic Church has told are hundreds and hundreds of years old. And by and large, I don't believe in any of them. Like, and that's the first thing. Second thing, I don't give them people my money. And I'm not trying to convert anyone. In fact, don't come over here. It's actually very bad. Okay? Like, but Mormonism not only functions on all of these things built on a lie, and also they are actively trying to convert people so that they can get more money. I find it morally reprehensible. I do. And I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that. And I know I'm probably a hypocrite, but like I can't do it. The reason that I can deal with Heather Gay and Bronwyn Newport and who's the other? Whitney Rose, they know that it's not real. They're not believing it. They're not buying into it. They're not forcing other people into it. They might have done in the past, and those are sins that they might have to atone for, things that they might have to apologize for, but they're not doing it anymore, you know? Meanwhile, like, Macy is still going to temple. Whitney was talking last season about how she thinks that the Book of Mormon is true. Like, it's just, I can't do it. But Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Okay, first thing I want to say, speaking of schemes that Todd set up, did you see that Todd and Candy got divorced? And that not only did they get divorced, but he is asking for full physical custody of their 2 children. I think it's going to be a messy divorce. I think it's going to be messier than anyone could have predicted. And I think, unfortunately, Mama Joyce spoke a lot of evil over Candy's life. And now it might have been delayed, but now it's coming to fruition. And that makes me really fucking sad. Like, it didn't have to be like this, you know. I think that that's really sad. But on the bright side, Candy can now go be gay. Praying for you, babes. Back to the Real Housewives franchises that are taking it. So this season of Salt Lake City is just operating on all cylinders. People have often said that Salt Lake City is like a parody of a Real Housewives show. And if it is, like, inject it straight into my veins. Like, I love these ladies. The thing that works for me the most about Salt Lake City is that they're walking the line between, this is a show and nothing that I do on it matters because it's a show and they're filming all of this and this isn't my real life, so I can do whatever I want. A la Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Like, it kind of feels like that's what Jesse's doing. It kind of feels like that's what Demi is doing. It kind of like feels like a lot of these like storylines are made up or contrived for camera. Speaking of, so I didn't even remember to say this. Like, one of the main storylines this season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is that Jace and Michaela are having problems in the bedroom. And I just think it is so morally reprehensible that someone whose partner experienced years of CSA would then say, it's okay for us to use our dead bedroom as a storyline this season and go to therapy about it and talk about how it's impacting me, as though that even matters. Like, I think even if the producers had presented this as a potential storyline, if she presented this as a potential storyline, I don't care. I think he should have stopped it dead in the water and been like, this is too much. Don't make me a part of it at all. If you want to explore what you've been through and talk about your journey and your healing, I think that's enough. But as making it seem as though I'm having problems in my marriage with you because you can't get to where I want you to be sexually, I would just be like, I don't think that that's a good idea. And I think that that would actually be like very, like, not helpful for your healing journey. But like, do that. Mind you, this is the man who impregnated her when she was 16 and he was 21, mere months after she left her mother's house where she endured most of this abuse for 9 years, to then get married to a 21-year-old almost immediately. Like, Michaela makes me really sad, but I'm not gonna get... Anyways, they're walking the line between everything is fake and nothing matters, and everything is, like, so dire. How dare you say anything negative about me on camera, because you know that these cameras are here, right? Like, there are some franchises that I feel like it's almost like the crime is that somebody would say that someone did something bad. Like, Real Housewives of Orange County, the main drama this season was that, like, Katie talked to bloggers. Of course, it was the one Asian woman on the cast who talked to bloggers. But, like, what did she say to them? What was she talking to them about? We don't even really know. Like, the contours of that whole drama don't matter so much as it matters that she said something negative about this other member of the cast. And it's like, well, no, because you're on a TV show. Like, there's going to be bad things about you. There's going to be good things about you. That's what the nature of being on a TV show is. You can't just be like, you're not Mother Teresa live streaming from the orphanage 24/7. Like I said, this is a show full of gutter women acting gutter, and that's the way that the engine moves forward. I think, so we have some storylines that are kind of like that on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, this season, some of the main things that are happening, Brittany got into a big fight with Meredith. Brittany is a friend of. She gets into a big fight with Meredith because she brought up that, like, there was a TikTok about how Meredith's husband, Seth, is, like, has a mistress in Columbus, Ohio, right? Another thing that's happening, Lisa's really close friendship with Heather that they were, like, cultivating and exploring a lot last season is coming apart at the seams. And I think the reason it's coming apart at the seams is because Heather realized that the fans don't like it when she is up Lisa's ass. And she doesn't know how to be friends with Lisa without being up her ass. So she's just, like, she's just nuking their friendship completely. What else is happening? Mary is, like, her church is back. Her church is open after the renovation. She's still dealing with her son and her son's addiction. He relapses, and she talks a little bit about that. Angie is Greek, and she also hates Lisa. This is also, like, a Lisa takedown season. Like, every season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is a Lisa takedown season. But the thing that I appreciate about Lisa is that she comes back to work every season, like clockwork. Like, she is ready to forgive these women and give them grace and give them care. Because I think that, like I said, there's an understanding of, like, this is just a show. Like, at the end of the day, they might say XYZ to me on camera. We might have this tiff. But it's a show. Like, that's what this is. And I have been loving Lisa this season. I was, like, not always. I'm, like, I've always kind of been on the fence about Baby Gorgeous. Like I said, I don't really like active, like, her and her husband, John, are just, like, still a little bit more Mormon than I personally feel comfortable with. Her son going on a mission is, like, I don't like that, especially to Colombia. Leave those Catholics alone. They've been through enough. Okay. I've been enjoying her this season. That's really all of the story. Oh yeah, Bronwyn's husband is still cheating on her. Like, these women are so willing to just, like, expose every, like, the, like, sinewy meat of their lives, but also they're not giving too much, you know? Like, I never watch it and feel like, I shouldn't be here for this. Sometimes I felt that way watching, like, Love and Hip Hop, any iteration of that show. I'm like, why am I watching this? Why is this happening on camera right now? Like, it gets to a point, but they are, like, talking about real things that are happening in their lives while also, except Heather. Heather has never had a storyline. Heather's storyline is always, like, I hate Lisa, or I'm up Lisa's ass, or I'm up Jen's ass, or, like, she's never had a storyline. And when somebody tries to give her a storyline, like, I think season 4, Whitney tried to give her a storyline by being like, remember when we met with Angie Harrington and talked about how Lisa gives blowies for Utah Jazz Sea? Heather was like, how dare you say that I had that conversation? Shut up. And it's like, God forbid somebody try and help you, give you something to talk about that actually, like, has to do, that actually, like, might have to do with you, you know, your friendship with Angie Harrington, and how you think Lisa gives blowies for Jazz. Like, I don't know, whatever. My Whitney impression is done with love. I love Whitney. She's my favorite, honestly. I love Whitney. I think Mary is an amazing actress. I think she's pulling a fast one on everyone. I have to get off Reddit, because I was going to say everyone on the Reddit is obsessed with her, but everyone on Reddit, period, loves all the worst people. Like, the worst possible person that you can love. But I think Mary is very clever, and I think she knows exactly what role she has to play to stay on the show so that she can keep having income, basically. Angie, I enjoy. I think she's an excellent housewife in terms of the fact that, like I said, she's willing to do and say anything, but at the end of the day, she realizes, like, this is just a show. This is not really, like, I'm not, like, doing things that are meant to define my relationships with these women. Like, when she said last season that Brittany had high body count hair, and then Brittany started crying, she looked genuinely surprised, because she was like, I thought we were doing a bit. Like, so it's kind of like you should clear your bits with people before you just start going off on a jag, but I get her. Bronwyn, this show is a part of Bronwyn's exit strategy for her marriage from Todd, and I finally realized that this season, because everything we know about Todd cheating on Bronwyn, we learn from Bronwyn. And anytime somebody else brings up the fact that Todd is cheating on Bronwyn gets mad. It's because she wants to be able to control the narrative. She wants to tell us. She doesn't want us to learn from a third party, so that she can control how much information is getting out there, so that when it does come time to do the divorce settlement, okay, in California or Utah or New York, whatever state they decide to file in, she can get the maximum return on that investment, okay? Like, and that is an investment. I think it's a choice to be married to that man for however many years, not have a baby with him. I mean, he was done having his kids, I guess, because his one son is only 6 months older than her, but, like, I think it's a choice. She doesn't have any kids, so there's no reason for, like, child support. Well, I guess he did adopt Gwen, but Gwen's over 18, so there's no, I think this is her exit strategy, and I think it has been the entire time. Whitney is talking about how it was her husband Justin's idea to take Wild Rose Beauty MLM instead of, she wanted to go into Sephora and Ulta, and it makes me really sad. I love Whitney because I take her very much at, like, face value, because I don't think she doesn't scheme as much, in my opinion, as people seem to think she does. But, like, I think if she's going to scheme, she's going to scheme in a way that matters. Like, she's going to scheme in terms of, like, cheating, not in terms of, like, making up lies about other cast members. Like, it's really not that serious. But it's sad to think that, like, she had the opportunity to put her brand in, like, big box stores like Target, Ulta, Sephora, and was talked out of that by her husband. And because there is a part of her that still really craves and validates male approval, like, there's a part of every woman, but particularly Mormon women, because of how highly patriarchal that culture is, that craves that she was like, let me trust my husband because he's finally, like, believing in what I'm doing. I mean, I don't think that she's, like, not culpable in the situation at all. Like, you're an adult, you get to make your choices, but it makes me a little bit sad. Like I said, Heather does not have a storyline. Heather is funny to me because I've just been yapping for, like, 2 hours. Heather is funny to me because her storyline is always, like, talking shit about other people. Her storyline the first season was opening another location of Beauty Lab and Laser, and she has not done anything since then. The Captain Jason stuff was fun. We're not doing that. She was dating for a little bit. We're not doing that anymore. Heather, much like Ashley from Real Housewives of Potomac, I think Heather would flourish if she just allowed herself to be a lesbian. Like, just be gay. Lick some puss. See how you feel about it. And then last but certainly not least is Meredith. Meredith is the only one on the cast who I personally feel like takes things a little bit too seriously. Because once again, it's like, you're on a show. We're all playing games. Like, she has this very hard line about her family, and you can't talk about her family. You can't say anything about her family. And, like, that's fair. But to like, tell people that that's the one line that you don't want them to cross, you're almost, like, handing them the knife to stab you in the back with. Like, it's like how on Bachelor, they would always, like, if a contestant filled out in their form that they're afraid of, like, heights, they would always make them do a date where they're skydiving or something, you know? So instead of saying, like, my hard line is don't talk about my family, say, like, my hard line is don't talk about my business. And if that's something that you don't really care about, then you can engage with them on that, as opposed to the thing that she does really care about, which is her family. And then inevitably people always bring it up because they know that it gets under her skin. I think Meredith and Lisa are not really playing the game, the like reality TV game, in the same way. They're not engaged in the same way as the other women are. And I see Lisa trying this season. Like, she's showing us little snippets of her married with John to be like, see, it's not that perfect. But it's still like it's, I don't know. It's cutie. It's kind of cutie to me. I really love Lisa. Okay. The last thing I'm going to talk about is Real Housewives of Potomac. So I promise you, I have not seen a season of Real Housewives of Potomac since Monique Samuels was there. That was the last season that I watched, when Monique and Candace got into that fight and then Monique left. And I really liked Candace, but I didn't like anyone else on the cast. I was about Wendy. Hated Robin. I've always really liked Karen. I liked Candace and I liked Karen. Everybody else, hated Robin. My hatred for Ashley Darby is primordial. Like, I said this in a TikTok and I'll say it again. In the beginning, God made man, God made light, God made me, and my hatred for Ashley Darby. Like, it's instinctual. And I hated Giselle too. Like, I never really cared for her. And as long as the cast was majority light-skinned women, it was always like everybody getting together and turning on the darkest member of the group. And I was just like, I'm not here for that. So when Robin was finally fired last year, after spending season after season after season lying about what her actual life was like and lying about what was going on in her life, I was like, okay, maybe I could cut that on the next season. And boy, am I glad that I did. Okay. Boy, am I glad that I did. This season, so this is my first season encountering Stacey Rush, who used to do QVC, I think, and she's married to this weird German man who I don't like. His name is Timo, or Timu, like the app. Anyway, and I love me some Stacey. I love me some Stacey because she is delusional. I love a delusional housewife, and I love a housewife that lies for no reason. Like, it's just funny when they lie. It's literally funny when they lie, especially when they lie about things that are verifiably false. So it seems to be that allegedly she hired an actor to play her love interest for the first season. And she said that her and her husband were getting divorced. But my theory is that she hired this guy because her husband didn't want to film. That's what I think. And there's apparently like documentation. He's like suing her or something, whatever. Everybody's like really annoyed because they're like, why did you lie about your relationship with TJ? Like, why did you hire an actor to be your boyfriend? Like, what are you doing, basically? But I love her. I think she's absolutely ridiculous. And you always need a housewife who is just completely ridiculous. Like, it's for Salt Lake, it's Lisa. For Atlanta, it was Portia. For Miami, who's the other Lisa Hochstein. Like, just, you always need someone who is just completely ridiculous, and that is the role that these women fill. I'm finding myself really liking Giselle now that Robin is gone. Like, I am enjoying Giselle now that Robin is gone. Her and Robin were so evil together, and I think they brought out the absolute worst in each other. And now that there's no one there, the only person left to annoy me is Ashley, but I can just ignore Ashley. So I'm feeling great about this. Ashley is another person who I think, like, just do lesbianism, you know, lesbianism, become a stud, do lesbianism. I think her life would be a lot simpler and she would be a lot happier. They brought on 2 new people named Kiarna, who was originally a friend for Wendy, and Angel Massey, whose husband is like a former NFL player, I think. Kiarna is miserable. And, like, clearly she doesn't know how to be on camera, and she doesn't seem to want to be on camera, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like you wanted attention all your life, but now it's like I was saying at the beginning, like, you wanted all this attention, now the attention's here, and you're like, what do I do with this? Meanwhile, Angel doesn't know, she doesn't understand the beats of a housewives show, and I find it very frustrating. That, coupled with the fact that there was a huge thing there was like a big thing that happened. They go on their first cash trip, and Giselle, light-skinned, green eyes, calls Angel a catfish. Somehow, 2 weeks later, Angel has decided that it was not Giselle who called her a catfish. It was Wendy, dark-skinned, Nigerian. And she said Giselle might have said it, but Wendy made everything worse. So you did the mental gymnastics to find a way to remove culpability from the light-skinned woman and put it onto the dark-skinned woman. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not interested in that. Wendy might have other problems. Like, Wendy might have other things about her that are a little bit annoying. But she did not call her a catfish. She literally just explained. Like, Angel said, what do you mean I'm a catfish? And Wendy explained, you look a certain way. The person that you are presenting yourself as here, that we see, does not look like the person that you present yourself as on social media. Which is true, because she facetunes that nose to heaven and hell. Okay? Makes them lips big, makes those eyes closer together, makes that face slimmer. Like, she does not look on social media the way that she looks in person. But Wendy was not the person who said it. Wendy was the person who explained what Giselle was saying. That's like, get into that, okay? I just saw the, like, what we're doing for the rest of the season trailer. Karen's gonna come back, and she's gonna have, like, a little sit down with Andy Cohen, and she's finally admitting that she's an alcoholic, which, thank God, baby, because you calling yourself Thomas Jefferson's concubine in a police station? If she had come out of there still saying, I'm not an alcoholic, I would have been like, put her back in. Like, it's not. It clearly hasn't clicked. I am, and there's a new British lady named Tia. I've already been talking way too much and my throat hurts, but, like, Tia is tea. And I do really love her. She's so fun. She's another one who I'm like, you want the women. It's lesbianism that you want. You don't like this man. Like, every opportunity she has, she talks about how sexy women are. She's like rubbing all up on everyone. Like, go get a girlfriend, mama. Leave that man alone. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about. I've literally been sitting here yapping for 2 hours. And I'm thinking to do, like I said, things like this on Patreon and or YouTube membership, where I can just, like, be candid and honest and plain about the things that I'm going through, the things that I think about things that I see. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know in the comments down below. If this is your first time seeing my face and you've somehow sat through 2 hours of me rambling about random SHIT, please subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate that so much. And if you are a returning subscriber, I love you dearly from the bottom of my heart, and I super appreciate you. I'm gonna go now, but thank you so much for coming here and watching this and letting me get this, like, little thing off of my chest. And hopefully the next time I see you, I will be talking about something from the past, because I've already filmed them videos. When it's time for me to say something new, that will happen when it happens. Okay. Alrighty. I'm done. Goodbye. Bye.